How much do you know about K-food? How much hanshik have you eaten?
We invite you into the world of Korean food, of course, including the history and culture of it.
We'll introduce trendy foods and famous restaurants on Dish of the Day with
Chef Ryan Phillips.
It is a Tuesday. That means it's time to bring in our chef, our Daily K expert in all things food related, Ryan Phillips. How are we doing, sir?
Good, man. Good, busy. Crazy
Cold
busy.
outside, meaning the farm is all ready for the frost and whatnot.
Oh, man, I had some awesome volunteers on Saturday, and we
Aw.
harvested every pepper. Well,
Oh, wow.
99.9% of them.
Did that take the whole day, pretty much?
Yes, sir. We also planted garlic. It's the season for planting garlic.
Oh, you
it
do it
grows
now?
through the winter, and then you
Okay.
harvest in June. So we got that done as well. But that's about it. That's what we did all day. That and eat a lot of great food. That's how I repay the volunteers. of
What
course,
did you cook for them? I saw the offer of free food for help.
Dude, I was surprised. They, worked them hard enough. They were hungry. So I think everybody had about 6 tacos. One guy had more than that. And there was also biryani and dal as well.
Nice.
Because just
You
in
made
case
that.
I had a vegetarian or a vegan
wow.
volunteer, I just
Yeah.
make that. And then,
Fantastic.
yeah. So they had plenty to eat. Yeah,
That
it's a
sounds
good time.
delicious. Yeah, working for food is always... That's how it used to work, right? Back in the day, before we were so material and stuff, you'd work for your meal and maybe some board and stuff like that.
It's beautiful, man. I'm always amazed at what we can accomplish. I've tried to set goals for the day, and usually we surpass that. Yeah.
Wow. So the farm is all good. You're all good. Any plans for the upcoming month? You've got
Man,
Thanksgiving.
I'm so busy.
Isn't there not Thanksgiving
I'm so
soon?
busy. I love it. But it is crazy. I'm juggling. At every stoplight on the way
Yeah.
here. I was at Garak this morning grabbing ingredients and equipment and things. And then every stoplight on the way here, I'm replying to messages.
Oh, wow.
And then put the phone down and drive.
Inquiries
And then-
about Thanksgiving.
Right.
When is that
folks?
again?
Last minute. It's next week Thursday.
Oh, my goodness.
It's Thanksgiving, and
Okay.
so the orders start to go out this Friday.
Oh, wow, for the weekend.
And so I've already got 15 turkeys in brine, and then I gotta put another 10 by Friday, and then another 10. Yeah, it's smaller than some past years. I've hired staff and done over 100 turkeys.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'll probably do about half that many this year.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, good luck with all that busyness.
Thanks, man.
Today's hashtag is soge, or like introduce or introduction. If you wanted to introduce a dish to Korea that maybe is hard to find or isn't here, what would you like to introduce? Or to our listeners, maybe something from you growing up or your time in Brazil or somewhere weird and wacky that maybe is a bit off the beaten path. What would you like to introduce, do you
That's
think?
a tough one. There's so many, man. There's so many. Okay. When people ask me what's the best thing I've ever eaten, I always go back to a trip, a very long and hot trip in India with a dear friend, staying with his family out in the countryside.
Okay.
And his grandmother made a vada.
Oh, what's a vada?
Yeah.
never
So
heard
it
of
looks
that.
like a donut, but it's not sweet.
Okay.
It's made with chickpea flour and I believe some wheat flour as well. And then there's some toasted spices inside the dough.
Yeah.
And it's fried. And then it was served to me for breakfast in kind of a yogurt that also had some kind of grains in it.
Okay.
And then fresh coriander. It was hot and cold. It was chewy and crispy. It was just everything.
That sounds
and just
amazing.
absolutely blew my mind.
I mean, we've got such a wide variety of Indian cuisine in England. Like, you go to an Indian restaurant that's famous for, like, South Indian cuisine and a certain region.
Yeah,
I've never heard of a vada. I'm going to have to find that.
Yeah, and all those things. It's just like anywhere you go in the world. The countryside, the handmade in the old way. I mean, they were
Fresh
just
ingredients.
reaching out the back door of the kitchen.
Yeah.
There was no running water or electricity in this
wow.
place. The grandfather went to the well each morning and carried.
Goodness.
Yeah, and so always the food that comes from those places is mind-blowing. I mean, nothing is going in a refrigerator for a few days and then coming out. It's all just being grabbed and used, you know, on the spot. So
that's amazing.
Just incredible. Yeah.
Grandmother's cooking as well is often the best. We're going to be talking about something I've previewed as not being fish in its original form, but is certainly fishy, although the taste and the smell, maybe not so much.
It's so confusing. Even the English name for this, it gives people the wrong impression. So here, today, we're going to fix that. So if you're listening, you will, after this, you will understand what Korean fish cakes are all about.
Okie dokie. So that is the star of the show, Korean fish cakes, Eomuk.
Right.
As we
Eomuk
say.
is one way to say it. There's another way to say it too, which is
Odeng, but
Odeng.
that is being phased out because it's got Japanese roots, apparently.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And so we're trying to say Eomuk, but I think still a load of Koreans still say Odeng just because of the historical past. And here's a photo of it. And I don't know, if you see this, you might be confused. What's going on there? Why is it all like twisted up on a stick?
Yeah, this is great stuff. This is the perfect picture to put up first because this is the classic. Back in the day, you can imagine. Okay, first of all, there is wheat flour here.
Yeah.
And then there's like a fish paste. They don't taste all that fishy, to be honest.
No.
It's more just like a lovely, chewy snack. But rather than just having flour, you're getting this protein too, and this flavor and vitamins and nutrients, right? Sometimes there's even some vegetables in there.
Yeah.
These are made into this dough, kneaded, then put thin, and then either fried, steamed, or boiled.
Okay.
Okay.
All of those processes can result in that.
Right. And then they're rinsed off to get rid of that excess oil and served at places like this.
Yeah, like the outside tents. Not quite a pojangmatcha. This is more of just like a tent vendor. They used to have loads in the 골목길, the side streets of Gangnam.
Right.
I
Are
used
they
to
not there
love going
anymore?
there. I think one street still might have them, but they put up bollards and stuff to stop like illegal vendors. So I think you've got to be approved and have a license and stuff like that.
Probably a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
Well, imagine, guys. Okay. Yesterday and today, windy and cold. All right, imagine you're in the busy streets, you know, and you got to get all the way to your bus stop or to the subway station, you know, from work, and it's cold.
Yeah.
Well, you can duck into these. This one, that picture, it doesn't look like it must be that cold of a day. Otherwise, they would have these other parts hanging down that make it like closed off more.
It's like an enclosed tent and it gets steamy in there.
Yeah, it gets really warm. And you're dying. It's the wind is brutal. And you duck in there and you don't even have to wait for anything. You can grab a cup and ladle the broth that we have in here in the studio today. You can ladle that broth into a cup and immediately take a sip. And that, boys and girls, is free. You should ask.
Yeah, of course.
And you
you've
should
got to
be
buy
buying something, but
yeah.
that is free. And I have had that without buying stuff.
Really?
I've gone up and asked, was like,
oh, wow.
you know, and and they're usually like, yeah, go ahead.
Because that is their stock for like warming up the actual fish cake sticks.
Exactly.
So it's kind of just unlimited in there.
Right.
And if you're not going to buy anything, asking would certainly be recommended. And they might say no in 2025.
That hot broth, though, on that cold winter day, man, that'll just set you up. So this is a very nostalgic food for Koreans and for myself as well.
Yeah, in the wintertime, it's perfect. You know, I'm bringing up my bag because I just remembered, this is random. I've got Eomuk tea. So this is a tea bag.
Oh, no way.
For just the tea, like the soup.
It's that nostalgic or that important that you can just have a tea bag and get that flavor of the pojangmancha, of the street vendor.
Yeah, and the kids love it. So that's why we bought these tea bags. And I will say it doesn't taste as deep and as rich as the actual soup. But it's not bad for a quick fix. And it's super cheap as well.
I didn't know those were,
I did not know. I think they're relatively new as well. They've only been around a few years. But yeah, that's one aspect. And then getting the skewers and eating those. And we've talked about this when we talked about tteokbokki many times. They're often sold like side by side.
Yeah, exactly. So you can immediately start eating these lovely fish cakes. And again, we're calling them fish cakes, but they're really more of like a okay, have you ever heard of chicken and dumplings, like the American style chicken and dumplings?
Okay, yeah.
Those kind of dumplings are just dough noodles. That
really?
They're too thick to be called noodles.
Like sujebi.
So, like sujebi in Korea, exactly. So these fish cakes, air quotes, all right, are really like this lovely, chewy, long dumpling, or other kinds are like in balls.
Yeah.
It's not just the sheets folded on the sticks, but you'll find all different shapes and sizes, different ingredients, sometimes even cheese inside.
Oh, yes, that's good.
But those folded ones are just ready to eat. And then while you're chewing on that, maybe you brush a little soy sauce on it.
Yeah.
While you're chewing on that and drinking your broth, you can order the tteokbokki, which takes a second for them to prepare, especially if they're going to fry up some squid or other things to throw in it.
Yes.
And this is just fast, quick, awesome, heartwarming food in the winter, especially.
That answers the question. I think it was Jun saying, is there a dipping sauce for this too? Oftentimes it is a brush that is in the soy sauce and you brush it on.
Yeah.
But you don't need that. Like, there's enough flavor by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, you really don't. But it's kind of tasty. Sometimes it's soy sauce with a little bit of chives or scallions in there.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. But funny fact, my first day in Korea, I got one of those... my mind slips. I'm forgetting right now. What's it called? The bread that's sweet with the sugar inside. The
Hot dog?
hot dog. Thank you. I was buying a hot dog on the street, and I'm first day in Korea. I don't know what I'm doing, and I get the hot dog, and then I grab that brush and I start to put soy sauce on my hot dog
on your sweet
and
dessert.
the lady just kind of smacked my hand.
I can imagine. No.
And then started laughing at me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Wow.
And then when I took a bite of the hot dog, I immediately realized, oh, this is a sweet thing, not a savory.
You don't want the soy sauce on there. But they might sell them at the same place, right? From time to time.
Absolutely.
And the fish cakes really are that instant goodness in winter. Gigi saying Eomuktang is definitely a winter food. This is when, and there are Eomuktang like bars where, I don't know since COVID if they still exist, but you used to have the communal broth in the middle, and then you dip your sticks, you'd order the sticks and dip them in and take them out. Those
Almost
were
like
so
shabu-shabu.
good.
Yeah.
And you might have some warm like Japanese alcohol there, like a sake or something on a cold winter day. But obviously Koreans can eat this with soju or beers or anything, but usually you're talking about it as a street food where you're not drinking alcohol at the same time.
But there are some posh versions of this as well. In restaurants you can go and usually it's anju. Usually it's a side dish to enjoy with friends and drinks.
Yeah, so good. Lilith saying, I feel like buying Chinese fish cakes now. I miss them in a curry sauce. You can get them like that in Hong Kong. Ooh, we don't do fish cakes with curry sauce. I wonder how that would go.
Why not?
Would work. Yeah, surely. We'll be back in part 2 to show you what we've got in the studio and eat it for you. It's our job. It's not our pleasure, of course. ATs would choose first. We're back for Dish of the Day with Chef Ryan in the studio, and we're going to eat soon. I'm really hungry, so I'm really looking forward to it as well. We've got some listener submissions for photos. Maybe we'll show them a little bit later. And then some messages to read out. Jun saying, the lovely hearty broth, perfect for the cold weather. And Forestville says, when he saw the photo of the sticks, he thought they were intestines or something.
Yeah.
I see how you can make that mistake, but they are not.
Yeah, I can see that. But no, these are much more friendly to everyone than,
kids love
some
them.
of the innards.
Absolutely.
Ray Kim writes, somehow it looks more delicious than just a stick looking. Yeah, okay.
The photo we showed earlier and the stuff that we've got in this pot, also, the visuals are really good today. The colours are really popping. And Siska says, indeed, Eomuk, I still have some in my fridge. I feel nostalgic thinking of eating this from the past, and I always ask for more broth. And yeah, oftentimes, like Ryan said, there's just a ladle there, and it's just up to you to pour it into a little paper cup.
I love
you just drink that.
I love that. Yeah, and actually... I was at the market shopping for these. People don't usually make the fish cakes at home anymore.
Yeah,
because they're so inexpensive at the markets, and that's what I wanted to mention. There were packets, as cheap as just like 1,000 won
for a pack of fish cake,
everything that's in here together was only 4.
Wow.
So that, and it comes with a broth pack. I made the broth instead, but they come with a little broth pack.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to make the classic dashima yuksu, the kelp broth, then you can just add that to the water and heat it up and go, and it's done.
It's one of my go-to dishes with the kids. If you can't be bothered to cook, you just put that pack with the broth soup mix in boiling water, and in about 5 minutes you're done. Like, it doesn't take long at all. It's amazing.
Can you tell me who this is? I don't know everybody's
Lilith.
tag. That's his Lilith?
Yes.
I thought so. Lilith writes, I miss it so much. Eating at market stalls is the best.
Yeah, that's the way to experience it. Unless you're an alcohol drinker, and the bar that I described, that's a really fun experience. And you're not like dirtily putting your spoon in there. It's a shared broth, but you're again using the ladle to put it onto your dish, and you put your omuk sticks in there to cook them, but then you take them out completely. And so I think it's relatively
kind
hygienic.
of a fun communal thing too, right?
Let's get to what we've got in the studio, because it looks so good. So we got the video. You brought it in your big tosot to keep it as warm as possible. Oh, look at that.
Look at all these.
And that's with the little tiny green onions, is it?
That's right. These are from the farm. I harvested them last night.
Wow.
Chopped them this morning.
And look, we got so many different shapes, right? Yeah. So you got the long rectangular ones, the little ball ones, and the ones that we saw in the photo there that are all on the stick like this. Oh, that looks so delicious, doesn't it? So let's tuck in. Go for your one of choice. I'm guessing the balls or the stick one will be easier for me to eat. So I'm going to tuck into this rectangular one first. Oh, see, yeah, that broth, I don't know how to describe it. It's certainly not fishy. It's not like a fish soup at all. It just smells like kind of like soy. It smells sweet as well at the same time. Mm-hmm. And it tastes like that too.
Go, Peter.
Yeah, so there's no fishiness to it at all. Like you said, you can definitely taste it's got flour. It's not just protein. But there's a beautiful...
It should be a lot hotter. I wish it was steaming right now.
That's how you have it at the places,
but it's
right?
pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's the classic Korean dashima yuksu, which is made from kelp, dried anchovies, radish, maybe some leek or onion, Korean leek or onion, maybe a little garlic. And then you just kind of finish it up with probably more minced garlic and a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of rice wine. And you've got the whole soup. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Now, I can see in here, yeah, you've got a few of the slices of the moo there. I can certainly see the garlic as well in here.
Yeah, I added those thin slices in this morning just to have a little something else in the soup itself.
Yeah.
Of course, I discarded a lot of the moo in the process of making the broth.
Ah, okay. Just using it for the flavoring there. And so let me have a little bit of the broth, because that is half the experience here. If you just have the fish sticks, which you can have, like I've seen places that just sell the skewers of Fishcake. Oh, especially at like rest stops. Hugeso. You've seen that. I think they call them hotbar then for some reason, but a lot of them are fish cakes just on a stick. They're usually quite big then, like rectangular and meaty. But then there's no soup in sight. They're just sitting in that like food warmer thing. And you'll often put ketchup and mustard on those things.
I know, where they look like corn dogs. Yeah, that's right.
And in that case, yeah, there's no broth. I think you can get non-fish cake versions as well, from some other kind of processed meat. But I've been getting a bit more conscious about processed meats recently, Ryan, because I've seen some terrible things about ham and sausage and anything with nitrate or nitrite in it that makes it pink. Like they're saying that's a category 1 carcinogen, like a cigarette. So some scientists are asking for warnings like cigarettes on like ham and stuff. And apparently 90% plus hams and sausages, not in Korea, but just globally, have that ingredient. And even eating just a few grams a day is, really detrimental to cancer risk and stuff like that. This, though, I don't know, it doesn't feel the same. Like, of course, it's kind of processed, right? It's not just a pure food that you find out in nature.
Well, the story of these really is kind of a technological, like industrial story as well. This is not something in this form that was so cheap and readily available back, more than 60 or 70 years ago. It's more of a modern phenomenon. You could have these factories crank out these fish cakes and bring the price down so low once wheat flour was more readily available here after the war. And man, it's good and it's hearty. And back in the day, 10 cents would get you one of these on the street. Today, is it still Obeg one? Is it still 500 won? Or has it gone above that now?
I think places in certain parts of Seoul, it might be pushing 1,000 won now.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's still, less than $1?
And they'll have like 3 times this amount on one of the
there's
sticks.
a lot of fish cake on your stick.
Right.
And my favourite one, which is down near Isu Station, just down the road from us here at Arirang, they do a spicy version as well. So it's got a red sauce on it, and it is pretty spicy, so it'll give you a kick. It'll keep you even warmer on a cold day, and that is delicious. That doesn't come with a soup. That's like just separately cooked like that, and it's so good.
Yeah, try that long one. It's good.
Oh,
you already had one of those.
I had the rectangular one. That was really good. And the broth, you can tell this is not the one that they include in the pack. Like there's such a depth of flavor here that you don't get, but it's subtle at the same time. So that's why I don't think anyone dislikes this. Right? No one says, "Oh, I don't like Eomuktang or Eomuk soup." There's nothing to be offended by. I don't know what's the best thing to compare this to, like in the West. For people who have no reference with Eomuk, how would you describe this soup?
It's a dumpling, like
yes.
it's a dumpling like in
a
chicken and
wonton
dumplings,
soup
or like
as well.
a wonton soup.
Yeah.
But imagine that the dumplings just had a little bit more to them and were a little bigger.
Yeah.
There's in some of these recipes, if you want to try to make these from scratch, if you can't find them, at maybe a Korean supermarket near you, it's a little challenging to make the sheet ones. I must say, I've attempted in the past, but the round ones or the rectangular ones are a little bit easier. It's a balance of. So you're using some egg and also maybe some baking powder, baking soda.
Yeah.
And because you want them to puff a little bit. But if you have too much, they'll puff up too much, and you got these really light, airy balls that are still delicious, but not exactly the same texture.
Because these are very solid, right? There's not an airiness to them, although there are little air bubbles in there, right? Yeah. So you got to put in a bit of baking soda into there.
Usually the recipes call for that. And the sheet ones, I've seen folks make them, and I'm not. I need some more practice. Of course, these are made by machine usually, but
yeah. And I don't think any modern family in Korea is making these unless they're really into cooking and that. Because I'm assuming you're using lots of odd parts of the fish, right? You're not just taking an expensive fillet of fish and putting that in there.
Right. Back in the day, it kind of started in Busan for Korea.
Yeah.
And you can imagine a port city like Busan. There's a lot of fish that's maybe not getting sold.
Yeah.
So you freeze it.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's not the greatest texture. So what do you do with it?
Yeah.
And this is an ingenious idea. You can just make it into a paste and then use it in other ways.
So is that like a lot of the skin? Like not really the bones? No.
No, it's just like say you cut off a fillet, but there's little pieces still left, then you can always use that.
Just
and
throw those
waste
in.
not, whatnot.
Okie dokie. So it's not like the oddest parts that sometimes you
No,
might
it's not
find.
the hot dog of the fish world.
Okay,
No.
it's not like the eyeballs and things like this. Okie dokie. We will be back in part 2 to show some of your submissions. If you've ever tried it or if there's a similar dish in your neck of the woods, obviously fish cakes are not exclusive to Korea, then we'd love to see them. Send them in via Kakao Talk, where our username is Daily K. This next track is from Yongjun of Tomorrow by Together, featuring Daniela of Cat's Eye. Let me tell you. This is so good. So good. It's perfect for how chilly it's gotten over the past couple of days as well.
It's gotten cold out there, man. I'm so glad we got that work done on the farm on Saturday before it dropped.
Yeah, if you were doing it, even yesterday morning was pretty chilly, but this morning I think it dropped down to about 0. That is frosty. And as we said, usually this is served like piping hot, and so you need to blow the broth before you drink it, otherwise you will burn your mouth 100%. We're doing Eomuk fish cakes and Eomuk-tang fish cake soup with Chef Ryan for Dish of the Day today, here on #DailyK. And we have a submission from Leon. And Leon is from Singapore, saying, we have a similar dish called lok lok, which can be eaten grilled or boiled. Oh, like these fish cakes, I guess you could grill them as well, like the hot bars. It consists of various hot pot style foods, inclusive of meats and vegetables that are served on a skewer in mobile form. Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is the boiled one, served with malatang, which I really love, the spicy kick of. Of course, fish cakes is just one of the options. Oh, you're right. In malatang, we do have the fish cakes that you can put into malatang.
That's right.
At the buffet. Yeah. But well, sometimes they're on sticks, but sometimes they're just the little round ones, and they can be very colourful from other parts of the world. But here in Korea, this is our go-to, right? This colour, right? The kind of just yellowy brown. Yeah.
Yeah, and these will even be in tteokbokki, which Siska, thank you for reminding me of that. I love it when I find them in my tteokbokki. So Siska writes, I have Eomuk stock to put in my Insta tteokbokki. Anyway, when don't have Eomuk, I put bakso. What's bakso?
Those are some kind of meatballs that you've talked about before, yeah. And so for me, tteokbokki is not complete without eomuk, and usually it's the sheet ones that have been just cut into little squares and stuff. I need one of those, one rice cake, and if I've put in any vegetable like a carrot or something, then one of those on my fork, all together in your mouth at the same time.
Right, that's the perfect, a little bit of the leek in there.
Yes, so good. And then Leon did show us some fish cakes in Singapore, which looked a bit fatter than the ones we have here. We do have some other photos from ourselves to show you as well. So this is maybe, if you went to a more expensive place, they might do it on a stick like this with a few different colours. Like there's a white round one that I often see.
It does kind of look like intestines right there.
Yeah, too. Right. And then the one that does look like a little tube, right? Yeah. That's another common one. But again, they all taste similar, right? They're not really flavoured differently. They just look different.
I know that some of them have more of like a squid kind of thing going on rather than a fish kind of thing going on. You can tell by the texture and the flavour of it.
Oh, I see.
Lilith also writes, I love both Japanese shabu shabu and sukiyaki. The two versions of Japanese hot pot. And she says her mom can make fish cakes or fish balls and fish cakes from scratch. She did it a few times when she was a child in Hong Kong.
Oh, lovely.
Lucky you. I need to take a class. Learn from your mom.
My mum's pretty dab hand in the kitchen. She's never made fish cake or fish balls, I don't think ever. Ray says the fish cakes do soak in that tteokbokki sauce. Yeah, they will get drenched in it as well. And there are some, like my daughter, who doesn't like it when there are too many fish cakes instead of rice cakes. I think they are a cheaper substitute, right, for the duck. So if you want to scrimp on the duck, you might put in a lot of fish cakes, and some people might be cross. This is what I think of when I think of the Eomuktang bars. They've got more like suje, kind of like handmade fish balls. They're like in literally little balls. And then I think that looks like what kind of crab sticks or fish sticks.
Well, the imitation crab is made from the same thing.
It must be.
That goes into,
So if you're thinking, what are we talking about today? Fish cakes? Because when I first heard fish cakes or rice cakes, cake for me is dessert, so I was always confused. Yeah, think of like crab sticks or fish sticks, right? They do taste different, and the texture is certainly different because those crab sticks and fish sticks are really stringy. I love them as a cheap kind of sushi. Like put them on with a bit of wasabi. It's not bad at all. But they do have a different flavour profile, but it's in the same family, I suppose you could say. Gigi also saying the kanjang sauce can give it a kick as well if you've maybe got, I'm assuming you're saying like maybe some chili powder in there and some little chives or something.
Oh yeah.
That is really good. Okay, so if we had to tell our listeners to do this at home, a simple, quick and easy recipe run through, if they had to make these as well then, so take just little bits of fish and like...
it'd be harder to find. I did this, we were doing a show back years ago, the Cooking Possible show, and we had an episode where we needed to make this dish, but use ingredients from another country.
Oh, wow.
And I wound up with these really puffy ones. I had too much baking soda or baking powder or too much egg. But yeah, what I did is if you've got a food processor, that's a great way to do it.
Okay.
Food processor, throw in your fish fillet, of course, no bones, and zap it in that food processor, and then slowly add flour to it until you get a nice thicker paste.
Okay.
And depending on the type that you'd like to make, there's some that'll have a lot of onion and carrots in them. There's others that are just the flour and the fish and maybe a little bit of seasoning, and that's it. But you get that paste going, and then there's another trick. You're going to put it on a spatula. Now, normally, unfortunately, most of these are fried to cook. Okay. And it makes them more delicious.
Yes.
Maybe not as healthy. Like I said, we'll rinse off the excess oil before they go into a soup like this. But so you got your hot oil.
Yeah.
And you got your paste on, say, maybe a long spatula.
Yeah.
Like the kind of spatula you'll see at a hamburger joint on the griddle.
Okay.
Those long ones.
Yeah.
So you can spread it out on that. And then you can take another spatula and maybe roll it into rings. And then it goes straight into the fryer.
I see.
So it takes some practice to get the different shapes that you want to make.
Otherwise, it could fall apart, I assume, easily.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so you're going to have the right amount of flour to have it hold together well.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you've got those ingredients, just like a white fish that you can throw in the food processor, or just use shrimp, guys. You could just take shrimp or squid, throw that in the food processor, make that paste, add flour slowly. I would say probably about definitely more than 1 to 1. 3 to 1 seems like it might be too much, though. I would go somewhere between 2 to 1 to 3 to 1.
Fish to
of
flour.
Flour to fish.
Flour to fish.
Right.
Okay.
And then a little seasoning, and then drop it straight into that hot oil in whatever shape you want to try to make.
And then you're not eating it straight out of the fryer, right? That's not how we have it here. Then it would be like cooled down in Korea, and then you'd put it in the soup much later or something like
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then for the broth, as you mentioned earlier, not difficult at all, right?
No, it's the go-to broth for everything. So it's something you really want to have in your wheelhouse if you like Korean food. And it's the dashima yuksu. So you need some dried anchovies. For this amount, I think I used 3 or 4 is all. And you take the heads and the kind of guts off the dried anchovies, throw them in. I used maybe 200 grams of radish that we grew right on the farm.
Wow.
I also threw in a half of an onion, just kind of sliced up. But normally we would use Korean leeks or the daepa, and maybe a half of one would be plenty for this amount of broth. Of course, you need a little square of the dried kelp.
Yep. Not much. Just
Not very much, yeah. And then other things, you might have garlic in there. You might have see shiitake mushrooms sometimes. But especially for this, what I'll see on the street vendor stalls is they'll have crab in there. Sometimes they'll have just a crab or two just hanging out in that broth all day, just sharing its flavor.
Yeah, you always see that. And I wonder, like, if it was a meaty crab or it's often just the shell that I see, like, remaining, the top of the shell, and just to give it a seafood.
And nobody's eating that crab.
No.
It's just staying in there
Don't
to flavor the broth, right? Don't snag that.
That's a faux pas. And this came out in K-pop Demon Hunters. There's so much that's come out in there.
Right, yeah.
So you might have missed it, but it is in that street food scene, or where they're doing something on the street, right? And you can see the fish cakes on the stick. Yeah. And so that's why more people have gone a bit nuts around this. And yeah, it is similar to odeng soup in Japan as well, but they say the cooking style and flavor does differ. Both use ground fish paste, but Korean omuk includes more mixed ingredients, stronger flavors, and a wide variety of types, whereas odeng is more simple and delicate in taste.
Much lighter. Yeah.
And so that's how.
In Korea, you find a whole bunch of different varieties. One of the best I ever had when I first got here was in Myeongdong, in the big market area, and there was a gentleman in the middle of the street, and you're just packed with people walking around shopping. And he's just shouting about these that he's making. He's making the big stick, the kinds on a stick that are actually eaten right out of the fryer.
Oh, wow.
In Myeongdong.
Okay.
So he's making them. He's got this big container of the paste, and he takes a stick and kind of shapes it around the stick.
Wow.
And it goes right into the hot oil and comes out to you. I mean, some of these will have like a perilla leaf inside there with it.
Nice.
A lot of carrot, onion. I've seen some with some rinsed off minced kimchi added to it as well. There's cool. And they look like a giant kind of corn dog thing.
Yeah, and so if you buy it thinking it's that, when you bite in, you will be a little confused. The one stuffed with cheese, and I've also seen cognac. I believe that's what it's called, right? The cognac. It's like the jelly, the grey jelly.
Oh, I thought you were saying cognac,
not
like
as in
brandy.
the alcohol.
I was like, what?
I don't know what that is in English, but it's like low calories next to 0 calories. And it's like this grey jelly, but quite firm. And that will sometimes be wrapped in a fish cake. Which
Made from sweet potato starch?
It
must be, if it's kind of translucent.
Yeah, And you'll find it in a lot of Japanese cuisine as well. But that is a good way to have it. And then you sometimes see rice rice cakes with the Eomuktang as well. Like multdok
Right.
is what we can call that, and that goes well together, just like tteokbokki. Ryan, thank you so much for bringing this in. You have filled my stomach today.
And this is another one we'd never done before. Why didn't we ever talk about this before?
There's still so many. That's why we've got years to go still. My belly will be happy every Tuesday. Have a good week, Ryan. We'll see you next time.